Today in our 2013 Kia Sportage, we're going to be installing the Curt T-Connector 4-pole flat trailer connector harness, part number C56251. This connector is going to give you all your necessary lights you need for your trailer. It's got your left turn, right turn, brake, and tail lamp signals. It comes with a dust cap so you can store it outside your vehicle, or if you leave it outside while not connected to your trailer, you can cover it up, keeping out any dirt and debris. This Curt harness has a control box that will protect your vehicle's circuits from any shorts or overloads on your trailer. The control box uses a separate fused power circuit from your battery, so it doesn't draw any additional load on your tail lamp circuits in your vehicle, potentially causing one of those fuses for your vehicle's tail lamps to open. We're going to start our installation under the vehicle and locate the vehicle's factory harness that we'll be plugging our T-connector harness into. Our factory harness is located here under the bumper on the driver's side. Now on some vehicles there may be a dust panel here that you might have to drop down. On this particular one there's not. So we want to remove this connector. So just push in on the tab located on the inside and pull outward. Now that we've got it removed from our mounting location, we can disconnect the connector from the harness. Push in here and separate the two. The box mounts on the inside of the vehicle along with the 4-pole connector. So we're going to be putting this inside the vehicle. So make a small incision down the side of your grommet. You can pull it out if you need to. Cut the grommet down so we can remove it. We'll be installing it in a later step. And push the connector up inside the vehicle. Now we're located at the back of the vehicle with the lift gate open. Want to move back any covers you have and also open the rear compartment and move that tray out of the way as well. Then take your storage tray, lift it up, and also move it out of the way. Now we're going to remove the 3 plastic screws that hold in the trim panel where your lift gate latch is. Just unthread them a little bit, then you can use a screwdriver or trim panel tool to pull out the center, then pull out the whole clip. And then do the same for the 2 remaining tabs. Now if one of your tabs is stripped out, you can use a flat-bladed screwdriver to get underneath of the head and pop it outward. With all your plastic pins removed, simply pull up and out to unclip your trim panel, lift it up and set it aside. Now we can remove the 3 screws holding in our side panel. 1 located under the trim panel in the back, and the 2 located under the storage compartment. Remove all 3 with a Phillips head screwdriver. Next we need to remove our driver's side tail light. Remove the 2 Phillips head screws. Set them aside. Then you want to pull towards the rear of the vehicle to release your tail lamp. You want to get a good grip on it and pull straight rearward. These were the alignment pins that was holding it into place after you took your screws out. Now unplug the connector to the tail lamp and set it aside. Now we're going to take our Curt harness and we're going to position it behind the panel that we loosened up. And also behind this panel we'll find the harness that we pushed through the bottom, and we'll plug that into the female end on our Curt harness. So you're connecting your Curt harness to your vehicle's factory harness. Now we're going to take the long black wire that's included in your kit. We're going to run it up through the hole where we remove the grommet into this side panel. Now strip back some of the wire that you had just pushed in. Connect the yellow butt connector provided in the kit to it. And then connect the other end of the yellow butt connector to the black wire coming off of your Curt control box. Take the other end of the connector that we plugged into our factory harness, the red and brown wire coming off your control box, and the black wire that we had just connected. Lump them together and slide your grommet over them. We're going to be sliding these back down through the hole. So you're going to push the male end of the large connector that plugged into your factory harness and the red and brown wire and the black wire that we fed through the bottom all back down through the hole and seal it with the grommet. It's a little hard to see back here because we can't take the panel fully off. Use the self-tapping screw provided in the kit with an 8mm socket to install your ground. We're just going to run this right behind this panel into our white wire with the eyelet opening on the end, and we're going to run the screw in next to the grommet. Using the two-sided tape provided in the kit, stick one end to your control box, and then the other end we're going to put right here on the bottom of our inside panel, and this will secure our control box in the vehicle. You want to hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds. We finished all the installation on the inside of the vehicle. Now we're back at the driver's side taillight. We need to route the red and brown wire that we ran through the hole up here. So I'm going to use a piece of air hose. You can use a coat hanger or any other flexible but rigid object to help feed the wire from down below up to where we need it. Now that we've got our hose routed down to the bottom, we're going to tape it to our red and brown wire so we can route it back up to our taillight. You could just push the wire up, but this makes it a little bit easier when routing it. All right, once you've got your wire fed up, now plug the female end on your vehicle into the male end of the red and brown harness you just routed up. Then we'll plug the other end into our tail lamp assembly. Now slide your tail lamp back in, making sure it's flush when you push it in. Now that we're back underneath, we're going to plug the male end of the large harness that we poked through the grommet into the connector where we disconnected our factory connector from earlier. Now we're going to take the black wire that we poked through and connected earlier and run it up to the vehicle's battery. Now I'm going to go ahead and route this under the vehicle, and I'll show you how I routed it afterwards. Remember, when you're routing yours, you want to avoid any moving objects, such as suspension or driveline components, and excessively hot components, such as your exhaust system. Here you can see we've routed our wire down our driver's side frame rail, over our suspension. We're just following right along the brake lines, up alongside the fuel tank, above this under shield, and right down the loops for the brake lines, up into our engine compartment. Now that you're back up top, you can reach down and grab your wire and pull it up. If you can't quite reach it, you can do the same trick we did at our taillight, route something down there, tie it to your wire, and pull it up. Here we have our fuse holder provided in our kit. We're going to connect the yellow eyelet terminal to one end of the wire. And we're going to connect our yellow butt connector to the other side. The ones provided in the kit are not heat shrinkable, so we've gone ahead and replaced those, since this lives outside the vehicle, with a heat shrink connector. You can pick some of these up at etrailer.com. Now we need to connect the eyelet of our fuse to our battery positive post. To route it so the lid will still close, pry outward on the front side of the outer lip. That'll expose it so we can slide our wire in. Now we can connect to the nut on top. It's better to connect it this way so the lid will still close, and also so you're not interfering with the tightening mechanism for your positive post. Disconnect the nut using a 12mm socket. Slide on your eyelet terminal, and then reattach the nut. Now you can snap it back together and close the lid. Now route your black wire over to meet your red fused holder we just installed. We're going to strip it back and connect it to our butt connector here. Since this is a heat shrink connector, we're going to use our heat gun to shrink it down and seal our wires. Now you can go back and clean up any excess wire you've got, wind it up, and make sure it's not touching on anything. Now we can install the fuse provided by the kit and check to make sure everything's working properly. Before we put everything back together, it's a good idea to test out it and make sure everything's working properly. You can use a simple test light or a 4-pole tester such as this one here. You can get at etrailer.com with part number I26. to make sure you've got all your appropriate signals. Here we have our left turn, right turn, brake lamps, and tail lamps. With everything working properly, we're ready to reinstall any components we took out. Slide your tail lamp back in and retighten the 2 screws. Put the 3 screws back in your side panel. Snap your liftgate latch trim panel back on and reinsert the 3 plastic screws. Put your storage tray back, making sure you route your cable up, and it can be tucked in either next to your storage tray or in one of your storage trays. Put the storage tray lid back on. And if you have a rear cover, put that back on as well. Now whenever you got your trailer hooked up and you're ready to use your 4-pole connector, simply lift up. You can take your connector, drape it out the back, shut your lift gate, and you're ready to go. And that completes our installation of the Curt T-Connector 4-pole flat trailer connector harness on our 2013 Kia Sportage.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.